So warm greetings, and here we are as a community to meditate together, and sit and breathe together, to wake up in a certain way, to wake up to the present moment, to be really here in our experience. And it's a rare thing that people sit quietly and allow themselves the possibility of being present in a full way, or to even want to be present enough to let go of their distracting thoughts and to really return here. And mindfulness of breathing is also involves a deep, deep intimacy with breathing, a familiarity with breathing, to really trust entering into the world of the body breathing in a deep way. And it's not just a simple mechanical function to breathe in. It in some ways involves the whole body or much of the body. And for most people who are practicing mindfulness of the body, there's often more of the body that can be included as part of the breathing. And so what I'd like to do for this morning to expand your familiarity with breathing is to kind of do a guided tour of breathing through the body, to guide you to experiencing the impact of breathing, the physical impact on breathing, in more areas of your body than maybe the primary spot you attend to breathing. And I often instruct people to have a home spot, a place that they come home to with their breathing, where it's easy and predominant and most comforting or most useful to attend to breathing. And it can be the belly, the movements of the chest, the air going in and out through the nostrils. But it's also valuable to kind of get a sense of the whole breath body and all the different ways in which the body responds to breathing. So I keep saying take. Would it be better to say assume, or to welcome your body into a meditation posture? In a posture that is for you the right posture, to be both alert and to relax. And to gently close your eyes. And to begin this process of familiarity with breathing, gently, maybe slowly, take a few long, slow, deep breaths, expanding the lungs as fully as you can without it being a strain. And a longer exhale than usual, maybe slower so it gets extended for much longer than you usually exhale. But again, not to cause any strain. Breathing in deeply. And as you do these deep breaths, feel the back rib cage, the shoulders, down into your hip joints, all along your spine. Feel what happens there. The changes, the movements. And then to let your breathing return to normal. And now with a normal breath, how do you feel this through your body now? Are there areas that you're normally not aware of breathing that now you notice there's maybe very small movements, pressures. And then with a normal breathing, scanning through your body and seeing what you can relax and soften. Relaxing the muscles of the face. Softening around any tension in the back of your head, down your neck. Feeling your shoulders as you inhale and relaxing as you exhale. Releasing as you exhale. And maybe feeling the chest. Is there any holding of breath there or resistance to the inhales? Or holding back from exhaling all the way? Relax. And softening the belly. And then to begin the guided tour of breathing, I'll direct your attention to different parts of your body and feel what impact breathing has on that part of your body. Movement and pressure, release of pressure, anything at all. And if you feel nothing, that's okay. Feel no impact of breathing. Just gently be aware of that part of your body. And if it's easy enough, without making it a project, to relax or soften that part of your body as you exhale, you may do so. It doesn't make sense everywhere to do that, but if it makes sense. So to begin this guided tour of breathing, softening your belly and experiencing any movement in your belly as you breathe. Any pressure and release of pressure. Anything that's pleasant or unpleasant. And there's no need to judge it or have preferences. In the guided tour practice, it's just to discover how it actually is. And as you feel the movements of your belly, feel it in the middle of your belly, kind of maybe just below the belly button. Feel it on the sides of your belly. Maybe even noticing what happens on the sides of your waist. And then bringing your attention up a little bit to the area maybe a couple of inches above the belly button. And feeling the movements there. Are the movements smooth or are they choppy? Are the breaths long or short? Deep or shallow? Whatever it is okay. And a little bit higher, become aware of the area of the diaphragm. For some people, just kind of below the solar plexus. Spreading out to the bottom rib cage, including the sides of the body. Feeling the movements, expansion and contraction. And from the sides of your rib cage, moving up the sides, higher up towards the armpits. Maybe there's a subtle feeling of lifting as you breathe in and falling as you exhale. And then coming to the front of the chest, the middle of the chest. Feeling the sensations that are there as you're breathing. Sensations of movement. And as you exhale, to also remember to let go of your thoughts, your judgments, your commentary. Whatever way you're experiencing your body breathing, assume that's the perfect way, that there's nothing wrong whatsoever. It's just how it is. And you are discovering it. And then to move up to the top of the chest, maybe just below and around the collarbones. Maybe you feel lifting there and falling. And the collarbones out to the shoulders. Perhaps a small movements of lifting, falling, or a subtle pressure and release of pressure. And then up towards your nostrils. Perhaps you can feel, sense the air going in and out through your nostrils. Tingling, vibration, warmth and coolness. And how far back into the nose can you feel the sensations of breathing? Maybe even to the back of the throat. Do your nostrils move ever so slightly as you breathe? If you get quiet and soften your jaws, do you feel any variation in the jaws as you breathe in and breathe out? Moving your attention to the back of the neck, the vertebrae of the neck, and where maybe the neck meets, the vertebrae meet the skull. And as you breathe, is there any movement, maybe wave-like movement in the vertebrae of the neck, and even moving up into the skull, so the skull ever so slightly moves as you breathe. And then down your neck, the area of your shoulder blades, and the spine between your shoulder blades. The back rib cage. Any lifting and falling, expansion and contraction in the back rib cage. And what happens at the bottom of your back rib cage, between the bottom of the rib cage and the soft tissue below it. Then down to the small of your back. And then all the way down to your tailbone and sitting bones. Is there any alteration of pressure or hardness, release of pressure or softness? Any movement as you breathe? And now, see if you can notice some spot in your body where the inhale first shows itself. The first movement, the first sensations that indicate that you're starting to inhale. And that from that space, let your awareness travel with your inhale, so the awareness spreads throughout this breath body as you inhale. All these different parts that you experienced in a relaxed, open, panoramic way, let your awareness travel with the inhale throughout the body. And with the exhale, let the awareness travel back to the place where the last sensations of exhale occur. Ride the inhale out towards the whole breath body. And the exhale, ride that whole breath body back to the beginning. Letting the thinking mind become quieter so you can really feel the sensations of the whole breath body here. And then as we come to the end of this sitting, to take a few moments to appreciate your breathing. And when we do breath meditation, you can just assume that you're breathing just right. There's no problems. It's just the breathing that we're using to develop our steadiness and our openness and our sensitivity of mindfulness. But as we practice, we might find that slowly over time, the breathing becomes freer, more relaxed, less held in check or limited. It might not seem so special while we're doing it, but then it becomes more clear when we enter into the world of people and relationships, how we begin to hold our breath, to keep our breath in check. If you want to have goodwill and have love and warmth, have a certain capacity of even intimacy with strangers, just a kind of presence with them. Returning to a relaxed, open breathing is a great support. We are less guarded when the breathing is relaxed and open. We are less resistant or anxious. And may it be that your familiarity with breathing supports you in staying present with others, with your goodwill, with a generosity of heart, with kindness, receptivity, that you're better able to really listen and attend to people with your breathing relaxed and fluid and open. And may it be that we learn from our breath meditation how to offer better attention, better listening, a better connectivity to the people in our lives that we meet personally or through electronics or even through our thoughts. And may it be that this breath meditation of ours supports us in staying close to that wish to bring a better world to others. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be safe. And may all beings everywhere be free. So I think it's easy to spend much of your daily life not attending to breathing, not noticing it much. And it can seem like pretty inconsequential in some ways if we're able to take it for granted. And not of that much importance compared to all the important things we're thinking about and imagining and doing. And maybe we can think of the breathing as something that's very humble and they're just there to constantly support us, but maybe doesn't want to have a lot of attention. But even so, the more we're aware of breathing and sensitive to breathing, we have access to all this information about ourselves. And one of that information is how we hold the breath in check, there's resistance in the breath, or we're holding and not breathing in, or not exhaling properly, or breathing only partially, or parts of our body are held in tight. Maybe the belly's tight and we're mostly doing chest breathing. And all kinds of things that are maybe subtle, but subtle because they indicate the state of our minds also. Because they indicate the state of our minds, they're actually quite valuable to see and to know. And there's this reciprocal relationship that as the mind gets tense, the breathing can get tense. As the body, the whole system is tense, if we relax the breathing and return to the breathing, then the rest of us can sometimes become less tense, for example. So this wonderful intimacy with breathing is so beneficial in so many ways. So in the third step of anapanasati, these 16 steps the Buddha gave for breathing, the third step is to train oneself to become aware, or train oneself to experience the whole body as we breathe in, the whole body as we breathe out. And as I said yesterday, one of the meanings of this, the interpretations of this, is it means the breath body, the full scope of how much the body participates in the experience of breathing. And what's interesting about the word for body, it's in Pali, it's kaya, K-A-Y-A, is that it's a kind of it seems to be used in a particular way. It can mean body, but there are other words for the physical body as well that are more related to the physical body than the word kaya. And the way that the word kaya is used, we can make kind of I think, a little bit of a fun wordplay, if you allow me. It's easy enough to say that our body is not what we think about. The body is not what we think it is. Because whatever we think the body is probably limited, not really the full scope of what the body is. But my interpretation of what the Buddha would say is similar to that, but one step kind of more, that makes it a little bit of a paradox or irony or mind-twisting kind of statement. So the body is not what we think it is because it is what we think it is. So there's two levels here. So it's not our surface thoughts, our ideas, our interpretations we live in, whatever the body is, the ideas we have. But the kaya as the body is very much influenced by what we think, the attitudes we have, and the mind states that we have. And so this kaya, the breath body that we're focusing on here, is that experience we have of the body, which is malleable and shaped by how our mind operates. And there's many levels in which that mutuality, that interrelationship exists. And so, so as I said, if the mind gets tense, then the breathing gets held tight. If we have an attitude of all kinds of attitudes and motivations and activities that we do that are generated from the mind, that will have an influence on how we breathe. And so as we meditate, as the mind gets calmer, so the breath body becomes calmer. As the mind gets stiller and less activated by a lot of thoughts and ideas, and gets more subtle, the breathing becomes more subtle. And it's fascinating to sit and get calm in meditation. Maybe you're very calm and very quiet, and then out of the blue, with no choice on your part, the mind suddenly thinks about a conflict that you had with someone 25 years ago. And suddenly you feel a surge of anger and about how you were treated or something. And now your breathing changes. Your breathing was soft, relaxed, at ease, and suddenly the breathing gets, the body, the chest, the diaphragm, the belly, everything gets tightened up, and the breathing now is limited and tight and maybe speeded up even, all kinds of things. So what happens in the mind, what we think does have a big influence on our body and on our breath body. And so part of what can make this mindfulness of breathing so interesting and so valuable is because what we experience, the breathing that we experience, and the operating word is experience, the one we perceive, we're experiencing it through the filter of the mind, and what we're experiencing is very much influenced by the state of the mind. And so the breathing is then is a doorway, is a channel to the mind. And in a sense, as we're watching the breathing, we're also watching the mind with the breathing. It isn't that we're ignoring the mind by focusing on the physical sensations of breathing. They're not just pure physical sensations. The breathing is so intimately connected to the state of the mind that we're actually having a window into the mind as we breathe. Now, it doesn't have to be a window where we consciously think this and start imagining, what am I seeing in the mind? But it's almost like the mind and body in relationship to breathing are not that separate from each other. And so as we develop more mindfulness of breathing, more concentration with breathing, and that very concentration and mindfulness is part of the mind that begins to shift and change. And so then that shift and change then changes the breathing, which changes how we focus on the breathing, which changes the mind, which as the mind changes, it changes how we focus on breathing, how we're present for it. And so step by step, or spiral by spiral, there's a deeper and deeper kind of connection to breathing. And so part of what makes the breathing so engaging for mindfulness of breathing, eventually, and very engaging, very absorbing, is that can't be understood by someone who thinks the breathing is just a physical, mechanical thing, is because of this intimacy between mind and body and how connected they are. And as we really get absorbed in breathing, something shifts and changes in the mind, and vice versa. And to have this reciprocity go really deep, this intimacy and closeness and actually a lot of goodness, a lot of beauty, a lot of wonderfulness kind of arises from this because of this close connection between the two. So I'm hoping you don't hear this and now strain or search or strive to see and expect it to be just this way. And mindfulness of breathing takes a tremendous amount of patience, a willingness, an allowance, a humility, an openness, no hurry, not trying to strain and not try to experience what I'm saying just automatically. I'm hoping that what I teach today about this connection between mind and body will kind of inspire you to be more patient and more accepting and more humble and more interested in just, okay, I'm just here. I'm here for the ride. I'm here to ride the breaths coming and going. I'm here to let the breathing reveal itself to me. I'm here to allow the Dharma to show itself to me in the way that the Dharma, when the Dharma is ready. And I'm just here, doing my small piece of really trying to stay familiar, intimate, connected to the breathing, trusting the breathing. And so what I did in the guided meditation about this big, this whole breath body, some people might find that it's useful to ride the waves of expansion and contraction, and some people might find it that it just helps them become more familiar with the territory of breathing, and they might still remain rooted in their home base if they have one, the belly, the chest, the nostrils or something. And then in the course of today, as you go about your day, next 24 hours, continue being a student of your breathing in daily life. Notice all the shifts and changes that happen to your breathing, depending the activities you're doing, the conversations you're having, the emotions you have. Become more and more curious and figure out some way to have a regular check-in with yourself through the day. Maybe have a timer go off regularly and say, oh, now my breathing is like this. No, it's like this. So more and more familiarity with breathing. Make it a habit. So thank you for today, and happy breathing to all of you.